Submission in marriage in 2025? Isn't that outdated? If you've ever cringed at the thought of submitting to your husband, this video is for you. Let's clear the air and get to the truth with scripture, grace, and clarity. Hi, my name is Paula, and here at the Holy Wifey Academy, I help wives improve their marriages using biblical principles. I've been married for over 13 years to my husband, and we have 3 children. I was once that wife, that miserable, naggy, unfulfilled wife. And so now I help other wives to become the happy, graceful, meek, and quiet and gentle wife that God intended for us to be. So today we're diving into one of the most misunderstood concepts of the Christian marriage, and that's submission. Now, before you click away, just hear me out. This isn't about being weak, controlled, or losing your voice. It's quite the opposite. This is about God's design and how it leads to peace, protection, and purpose in your home. So let's be honest. Culture has taught women that leadership equals worth, that to follow is to be less. But God's word flips that idea. Submission is not silence, it's strength under control. It's trust in God's order, not blind obedience to a man. That's not biblical. That's abusive. So Ephesians 5:22 says, "Wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands as you do to the Lord." This means that we honor our husband's role as leader just as we honor Christ, not because he's perfect, but because God's design is perfect. First Peter 3 shows us how a gentle and quiet spirit in a wife has great worth in God's sight. So submission is spiritual. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. So, for instance, for years, I was resistant to the idea of submission. For some reason, I thought it just meant that I would be subservient, that I would be controlled. I wouldn't have a voice, right? I'm just following the lead of a man, and I would never do that. I'm too independent. I'm too strong. I'm too educated. So for years, I held on to this control. I wanted my voice to be heard. I argued every point to the T. I fought on every issue to make sure that I had an input, and it drove us apart. It drove a wedge. And not to say that I was the only one to blame, but I'm just taking accountability for the role that I played, right? So the more I hang on to control, the further apart we became. So it was like, it was defeating the purpose. I thought I needed to hold on to my strength, to my worth, to my control, right? That would make me more valuable as a wife, that would keep us in balance, that would keep us equal. But we are not meant to be equal. Of course, we're equal because in the sense that we're all God's children, right? And we're all worth equally to God. But in a marriage, there's an order. So it's not that you're less than or he's greater than. He just has a different role than you do. He's a tiebreaker. If you guys can't agree, he gets the last say. Because if everything is going right in your marriage, you don't have a problem because that means you're agreeing on stuff. You agree on stuff. The issue becomes, or the issue comes up when you don't agree, when both of you can't agree on a thing, and then you fight and you fight to the death so that you can be right, so that you can be in control and you can have your voice heard. But I started to discover that I'd rather be happy than be right. And a lot of times now that I'm able to say to my husband, I leave it up to you. I trust you to make the right decision. He always comes back to, so what do you think about this? Or in the event that I already told him my thoughts and my desires, he will come back and say, "Oh, I think you had a good idea." Majority of the time, he comes back to doing what I want to do. So it works. It works for my benefit in multiple ways. because then we're not arguing because I'm holding on to control. He doesn't feel inferior and unheard and feeling like he's competing with me and my masculinity, right? So he gets what he needs to be fulfilled. And I end up getting what I want. So I'm fulfilled, he's fulfilled. It puts us both in a place where we're able to be happy and thriving. And it's just this funny way how it works. So I'm telling you, just trust God. So, what does it look like practically? It means you're going to allow Him space to lead, even when you have your own ideas. And your ideas are important. Don't forget that. It's important that you have ideas, that you have suggestions. You're like His advisor. You have the wisdom. You're able to see things from an emotional perspective. You're able to reason with your heart and with that wisdom that God gives us as women. Men are usually more logical, so they need us, they need our point of views for that balance. So your voice is important. It also means that you pray for him instead of trying to control him. So prayer is going to become a huge part of your marriage, not just individually, but you're going to want to pray together. It builds you up, it brings you together, and it just creates that unity that every marriage needs to thrive. It also means you're going to express your needs with love and respect. Respect is big for men. They need to feel respected. No matter what you do, if your husband does not feel respected, and that's why God asks us to allow your husband to lead. It never tells the man to force leadership onto his wife. Never. When you go into the scriptures and you read it, tells the man that the wife is his equal partner, equal heir to the kingdom. There's a balance. He needs to treat us equally, if not better, right? But we need to allow him. When you allow someone, it's that respect. It's knowing that you don't have to do it. It's knowing that you're more than capable of leading. You're more than capable of making the decisions. You're more than capable of being in control. But you choose, you made that choice to allow him to lead. And there's great worth, there's great value in that. A man is gonna just, he's gonna fall in love with you all over again, just knowing that, oh my God, my wife loves me, my wife sees me, my wife is allowing me to thrive. He may not even be thinking about it that way, but that's just the feelings that he's feeling, right? Like he feels fulfilled, he likes it. He just loves the way, it feels that he's not having to argue, he's not having to fight for control. You're just handing it over to him. So there's a difference. That's why submission does not equate to subservient or slavery or control, right? Because it's you allowing him to lead. He's not forcing you. He's not, most men won't force you to do anything. Most men, most good men, godly men, they're not going to force their ideas on you. They may argue, they may fight to be heard, but they're not going to beat it out of you or abuse you. You know what I mean? But they're going to fight and you're going to fight back. So we have to take the fight out of it. Just allow him to lead. It's up to you to bring peace, not pressure, into the home. So whenever he comes home, you want to make sure that he's met with a peaceful atmosphere. You're meeting him with love and grace, and you're not bombarding him. You're asking him, how was his day? Do you need anything? Okay? Give him time to just reset and let him feel like, oh, this is the place I always want to come back to. No matter what is going on at work, whatever he's doing outside the home, he's always ready and fully prepared to come back because it's his peace, yours peace. Remember that submission is an attitude. It's you granting him permission to lead you. It cannot be forced. It cannot be done unwillingly. This is why the Bible tells us as wives to allow our husbands to lead us, to submit to his authority. So it's not about what you do, it's about how you do it. It's not about what you say, it's how you say it. So, unfortunately, submission has been misused. The world has distorted. I think it's the plan of the enemy, to be really honest, because submission is such a powerful tool in marriage, and the greatest, I feel like the number one mission for the devil, for Satan, is to destroy marriages. So if he can distort our view of submission, he can destroy marriages, because this is what God intended for us. In so many different parts of the Bible, we're instructed, wives, submit to your husband's leadership, submit to your own husband, submit to your husband, right? But it's on the other hand, it's the one thing that we get so much pushback from. I get so many mean messages, so many horrible comments about how I'm being mistreated, how I'm being, people that don't even know me, have never seen me interact with my husband, right? But they just have this distorted view of what submission is. And I've never been happier until I embraced submission. So it's baffling to me, but I'm not surprised, because I had the same misconstrued views. And I know some women have been silenced or mistreated in the name of biblical order, right? That is not what God meant. Biblical submission never demands silence. It never tolerates abuse or require the wife to deny her worth. It's really about mutual honor, trust, and divine alignment. So this is really important. Submission and respect go hand in hand. And when you hear me talk about submission, you hear me talk about respect a lot. That's because you can't submit to someone that you openly disrespect. If you're submitting, it means you're respecting. It means you're showing respect. I want you to take note that the Bible never tells the wife to love the husband. Maybe because God knows that sometimes it's so hard for us, right? The husband will get on the nerve. The husband sometimes will be lazy. They'll be mediocre. Whatever it is that they'll do, we expect that they're going to fall short. But that's the thing. If we're able to show respect, even when we think they're undeserving, this builds them up. This builds them up to the point where we need them to be. It's God's design. It just works. When God designs something and He lays it out clear as day and instructs us to follow it, just follow it. Just trust God. He is all knowing, all powerful. And imagine He gave us that knowledge. The all knowing God gave us that information, that knowledge. And He said, if you do these things, your marriage will be successful. And yet I don't need it. We lean on our own understanding, our very limited understanding. We are not even capable of utilizing the full capacity of our own brains. But yet still we want to defy the instructions of God. We think we're smarter. We think we know better. We think, girl, I want you to know that you cannot honor your role while resenting His. If you're not able to honor His role as leader, you're dishonoring your role as wife, the role that God intended for you to be. You're intended to be His helper. You're intended to be His helpmeet. You're intended to be His advisor. You're intended to be His companion. You're intended to be His good thing. Are you being His good thing? Does He feel like you're His good thing? Can He confidently say, this is my good thing? So remember, respect speaks life. Submission follows God. Together, they bring supernatural strength to your marriage. Wifey, If submission has felt heavy or confusing, let me help you unpack it biblically, prayerfully, practically. Join me for my free webinar, How to Improve Your Marriage Without Waiting for Your Husband to Change. I'll walk you through how to realign with God's design for your marriage and revive your marriage from the inside out. Don't forget to hit subscribe, like this video, and share with another wifey who you think is rejecting the idea of submitting to her husband. And also comment below and let me know if this video helped to shift your perspective of what submission really means. You've got this, wifey, and now I've got you. See you in the next video.